according to you, is the West Bengal Assembly poll coming along? How confident are you about what may happen on the 2nd of May?
We are quite confident, not complacent, but quite confident. Trinamool will have a decisive victory in
How is it that you see this campaign that's unfolding currently in West Bengal? What, according to you, has been the role that you've been able to play in trying to mount a campaign which helps Mamata Banerjee score a hat-trick?
See, I have repeated this in multiple interactions I have had in the last few years. We can only help on the margin. I cannot, or for that matter, any individual or organization cannot help a party win or lose. They win or lose because of their own popularity, their own strength. We on the margin can help possibly in rearranging, going in the election with the right formation, right messaging, right effort. But to say that I have helped someone to win or lose is definitely an overstatement.
So elections are a lot about narratives, which is where PK and his team at IPAC kind of step in. And in this election, we've seen anti-incumbency emerge as a big narrative. We've seen corruption emerge as a big narrative. We've seen the mafia emerge as a big narrative. We've seen defections emerge as a big narrative. Are you concerned that this is a battle between one of the most formidable election machines on the one side and one woman and her regional party on the other?
Yes, but see, on one count that she is up against, or Trinamool is up against one of the most formidable electoral machinery which country has seen. Also the charismatic leadership, the power of the organization, all said that's there, it's known. But then you cannot discount the strength of the TMC as well. She, in her own right, is a very, very charismatic leader. She has governed reasonably well for last 10 years. She has delivered what possibly people would have expected out of her. When you govern for 10 years, there are bound to be some anti-incumbency. There are bound to be some section of society which might not have very happy with you, but you have to deal with it. No one can run a perfect government. No one can fulfill everyone's aspiration. But then you are not, and that's why you are not going to get 100% vote. But to win election, you don't need 100% vote. You need to get the majority. And in first past post system, so long you get more than others, you are through. So yes, there could be some pockets of anti-incumbency at the grassroots, but by and large, Didi remains very, very popular. By and large, I do see, whatever we hear, we listen, we observe, people of Bengal continue to have great deal of faith in Didi.
How has it been like for you to work with Mamata Banerjee? Because you worked very uniquely with Nitish Kumar, Amrinder Singh, Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, and Jagan Reddy, now Stalin, a whole cross-section of India's political leadership. How does Didi compare with other people you worked with?
So every leader, as you would imagine, they're unique. See, first of all, for people like us, we don't have somebody to watch for our back. We have to fend for ourselves. So we go with a lot of people think what is driving us, this side, this leader, that leader. We go with what comes our way and what we think in a given point of time is right thing to do. Sometimes it looks at odds to people's preference, their own understanding, and it might be true also. But you have to realize that what we are doing is unique in the sense that it has never been done in India before. Secondly, we don't have godfathers. We have not come from my father or people who work with me. Their fathers were not politicians or they were not running some company or organization. It's all self-made. We have done it day in and day out. We fail, we get up, we again try. So yes, the journey has been unique and I do not regret a single bit of it. As far as working with her is concerned, it has been an absolute delight. I tell you, many people who, quote unquote, when the announcement was made that I will start working with her, they said, on record, many people have said that, how can he might be smart, but what can he do? She never listens to anyone. Now the same people are telling that, oh, she's going to lose because she's listening only to Prashant Kishore. So you can't have both ways.
Does she listen to you? Because she's generally perceived on the outside as being mercurial, temperamental, Didi kisi ki sunti nahi hai, ukhad sakti hai, bigad sakti hai.
All leaders who are at this level, there is a degree of craziness. You have to be crazy to be at the level they are. So it's always difficult to deal with them, to have your way. in whatever way you want to them to do or act or behave or take a decision. But I think it has been absolute pleasure working with her. I haven't had a single opportunity where I had to struggle that I wanted her or the party or us to do something and she would have said no.
So let's take up some of the themes that have emerged during the campaign. एक चीज जो बार-बार लोग बोलते हैं कि ये बच्चा पार्टी आ गई है, अब हमें बता रही है कि क्या करना है, और कई सारे जो तृणमूल के लीडर्स हैं जो कि छोड़ के गए हैं, जो कि बीजेपी ज्वाइन किया है, वो कहते हैं कि नहीं, प्रशांत किशोर और उसके लोगों की वजह से हम लोग छोड़ के जाए. There's a lot of backlash to your presence on the ground in Trinamool.
See, whenever you come, with regards to age, anyone who is relatively young, if you are a journalist, the old journalist will say, who is Rahul Kanwal? Who is he to teach us how the journalism is done? But there is always that generational fight that will go on forever. But that's apart. Those who are leaving, they come to news and they make a noise that, okay, they are leaving for XYZ reason. I don't want to get into those. But assume that 5, 6, 10, 20, 15, whatever number you want to believe, have left and they have blamed, quote unquote, me. But then you're not looking at hundreds who are in party and are feeling greatly empowered and more confident than what they would have been otherwise. So you're not going and asking them. So out of 22 MPs, 1 MP left or 2 MP left, and you say, oh, that guy blamed Prashant Kishore. Agree, he or she might have. But then there are another 20 who are in the party and they feel they work with me and I'm working with them. And we are very comfortable with each other. So you have to go by, is it the majority? Coming to, why they are blaming, of course you have to create some disruption. I'm here not to make friends. I'm here to help party win. And when I'm doing that, some people, some interests, some groups might get this feeling that they are not getting their due or they are being sidelined, they are being pushed on the, but that's rearranging the formation. And in formation, if you change some people, there could be a legitimate concern on the part of those individuals that they were not given their due or they were pushed back or they were not as prominent as they used to be earlier. But then that is what I am here for.
Let's deal with the issue of defections. You said 15, we did a calculation, 40 Trinamool leaders, big and small, have left the Trinamool Congress over the past few months.
That includes the number which went before Lok Sabha.
Sure. So I'm saying over...
Yeah, so we have come into picture in July 2019. After that, the number would not be 10, 12. Not more.
There was a funny situation where one leader emerged on one of our channels as a Trinamool spokesperson the one day.
Yeah,
and the next day, he was joining the BJP. Now, all of this, to the world outside and to some extent in Bengal, does it create the sense that the Trinamool is a sinking ship in this election?
I have explained this earlier also. The people leaving the party because they were not given what they wanted, or they got a sense that they might not have their way the way they used to have, is not detrimental. It has never been detrimental. Before elections, especially when you're facing BJP, this is their part of the strategy. They poach on to leaders of the other side. The only way BJP probably could have won Bengal if Trinamool would have collapsed under its own weight. Because Trinamool is not a structured party, cadre-based party grown over 30, 40 years. It's a party which has been literally built with the sheer energy and the, I would say, crazy energy of Mamata Banerjee. And once she became victorious, a lot of people from different walks have come and they have become part of Trinamool. So some internal contradictions are also at play. Plus the fact that BJP is very proactively looking at this as a strategy, that let's get as many people as possible from Trinamool. So you can offer them security, you offer them money, you offer them post, you offer them ticket. So it's not surprising to us that some of them have defected, or some of them, they see that the reason to be with BJP. Out of this whole 15, 20, 30, 40, even if I include, say, numbers prior to Lok Sabha, say odd 40 people who have gone, many of them have gone because of the reason I just outlined. Maybe a minority of them would have gone for the pure political reason where they see that BJP is a possible winner. So you want to be on the winning side. It happens, as a political journalist, you see it happens everywhere. But no survey, no poll, no grassroots assessment that has come in the public domain has put BJP ahead of Trinamool. So how what is making you feel that we are a sinking ship? Trinamool is still a party with more than 220 MLAs. BJP is still a party of less than 10
But
MLAs.
on that, the BJP's key hope, and we were in Kolkata recently for the India Day East conclave, and we spoke to all the senior leaders of the BJP, is that they have a lot of firepower in the slog over. So even if the run rate is such that Trinamool seems to be ahead at this juncture, in the last 40 to 45 days, the BJP has the men, the machine, the muscle to be able to overpower and overcome. It's like Dhoni. Towards the end, he knows that the strike rate is manageable. Yes. He'll hit in the slog overs.
So I'm glad you have accepted that at least in the private conversation, they have admitted that at this stage they are behind. Now they are hoping that they are very good players of slog overs, and hence they will be able to not only fulfill the gap, but they will also be able to march ahead. But we are not sitting with our hands tied either. Didi is a fierce political fighter. Trinamool is not a rotten political organization, and with whatever we bring on the table, we know that BJP plays it very well towards end of the elections. We have seen it in Delhi, and if there is any one individual who have faced it, I have faced it. I faced this in Delhi. I faced them in 2015 in Bihar, and I have faced them in UP also. I must mention, otherwise your viewers will say that, oh, he cleverly omitted UP. And 3 out of 2 out of 3 times, we have come out as winner. In Bihar, they said the same thing, that yes, they are ahead, but you see the alliance between Lalu and Nitish Ji will not hold. They will fall. We will win. They could not. But at this stage, just stay on this. When they are claiming to you in private that they are behind, but they will
They're not
make
really
up.
saying that. You're just playing mischief.
No, I'm not. You have already admitted it, because that's the truth. Even if they are not admitting, that's the truth. But look at the bravado of Mr. Shah, who says that we are going to win 200 seats. He thinks that he is winning 200 seats. So what is it? You're just trying to play a psychological. You're trying to drum up the support and say that, oh, BJP is winning. You're trying, because they're doing this only to create this panic among the rank and file of Trinamool, and create this what we call hawa, that BJP ही जीत रही है, ये तो कोई कभी हार नहीं सकते हैं. But there is only that much you can go based only on hawa. Because end of the day, people on the ground are realizing that Trinamool is way ahead. You look at all the public meetings that are happening on the BJP side or on our side, on the Trinamool side. They created so much noise about these Rath Yatras. Have you seen a single meeting related to that so-called Rath Yatra, Parivartan Yatra as they claimed? Any noise, any visual, show it to me, if it is there. Some of the meetings are getting 200, 300 people, even for the leaders like Mr. Nadda, Mr. Rajnath Singh, they're big leaders. They come, they're getting 500 people.
But some of the sabhas did have some.
Yes, but if Mr. Shah is coming, Mr. Modi is coming, of course they get a lot of people. There's no doubt about it. And that is why they're getting 40% vote share.
No, so you're saying that the BJP is playing mind games? You've been playing some number games of your own. You put out a tweet saying that if the BJP gets 3 digits,
yes,
you will give up politics?
I will give up this space, meaning
what
I
does
will
that mean? You'll give up Twitter?
No, I will give up the work which I do.
And what will you do if the BJP gets 3 digits?
I will not do the work which I'm doing. I will quit this space.
You are serious about it?
Absolutely serious.
Be careful about what you are saying. Yahi bite baar chalegi.
Please, if you will play this bite only if I continue doing this work ever, if BJP gets more than 100 seats.
नहीं, अगर बीजेपी की आ गई 100 से ज्यादा तो आप क्या करोगे?
छोड़ दूंगा काम में.
क्या छोड़ो? बंगाल में फिर से नहीं आओगे?
नहीं,
बाद में कोई
कभी नहीं, मैं करूंगा ही नहीं, ये काम ही नहीं करूंगा.
मतलब?
I will cease to exist as a political aid, what I have been doing in the last 4-5 years.
IPAC बंद कर दोगे?
बिल्कुल बंद कर दूंगा. I will not exist.
मतलब IPAC चलता रहेगा, आप नहीं करोगे?
IPAC is not owned by me, as you know. तो IPAC चलता रहेगा कि नहीं, वो भी मैं नहीं कह सकता हूँ. मैं, प्रशांत, you will never meet me as aiding anyone in this role.
तो क्या करोगे अगर बीजेपी की आगे?
क्या करूंगा? पहली बात तो होगा नहीं. और अगर हो गया तो फिर then I genuinely think, then I don't deserve to be in this space. Because, देखिए, UP I lost. And this is my stated position, which I have not stated publicly. If the day I lose an election, I should quit this space. When I started, this is what
UP में तो बड़ा पिटे थे.
I'm coming to it. In my own head, we never got to do what we wanted to do in UP, but I don't want you to put that as an excuse. But in Bengal, I have no excuse. I know the strengths and weakness. I got into this knowing fully well that what are the strengths and weaknesses of Trinamool. Knowing fully well that I am up against BJP and their desire to win Bengal at any cost. Knowing fully well that there would be anti-incumbency, there will be desertion, there will be all those things. And I have had 1.5 years here. And Didi has given me as much freedom I would have liked to help, contribute, suggest whatever I wanted. Even after doing all these things, if BJP is able to defeat, I must be humble enough to accept that I'm not good enough and quit.
So is this arrogance? Is this overconfidence?
It's neither arrogance or overconfidence. It is that I don't want to be in this space as a second best.
ये अजीब बात है, अगर हार गए तो करोगे ही
नहीं,
नहीं।
हमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है करने की ना। हमारे कोई पिताजी ने ये थोड़ी ना कहा है कि नहीं ये काम ही करना बेटा। हम तो
आप जो बोल रहे हो उसको नरेंद्र मोदी जी भी देखेंगे, अमित शाह भी देखेंगे।
इतने बड़े लोग हैं, वो लोग तो नहीं देखेंगे।
देखेंगे,
छोटे लोग
ये तो अच्छा है, आपका बिजनेस बंद हो जाएगा तो अच्छा, उनके लिए पंजाब में आसान हो जाएगा।
पहली बात तो ये है कि मेरे लिए बिजनेस नहीं है। दूसरी बात, मुझे इस स्पेस में रहने की कोई ऐसी डिजायर या नेसेसिटी नहीं है। I can do something else. I can just go and live like a normal life.
आप कह रहे हो कि बिजनेस नहीं है, पर है तो बिजनेस ही ना।
नहीं है।
क्यों? आपकी कंपनी है, आपकी आइडियोलॉजी नहीं है, आप कभी यहाँ पे लेफ्ट में होते हो, कभी राइट में होते हो, कभी बीच में होते हो।
I tell you something. This is the way people look at it. कि ये मेरी कोई कंपनी नहीं, ये तो आपको पता है। IPAC is not owned by me. I'm not the shareholder. I'm not the. But I don't want to get in that debate because I have answered this question up to a number of times. Whether it's business or not, I'm not obligated to. Explain this to
So
the
what
people
is it? If it's not a business, then what is it?
It is a platform for the young people to come, experience and be part of the political setup if they so choose to be. We think that we are able to create a space for ourselves where we influence policy, we influence the political ecosystem and the way governments work and function in this space and the area where we work. Now that looks too lofty, that might sound too lofty for you, तो आपको लगता है अरे ये तो कुछ किस लिए कर रहे होंगे, पैसे के लिए कर रहे होंगे। अच्छा, पैसे के लिए नहीं कर रहे तो राज्यसभा जाना चाहते हैं, राज्यसभा नहीं जाना चाहते तो कोई पोस्ट चाहते होंगे। ऐसी बात नहीं है। We are far more ambitious than that.
What is that ambition?
That we will keep it for some other day. But I can tell you something, I'm far more ambitious than trying to make some extra bucks to be doing what I'm doing.
नहीं तो क्या, मैं आपका ambition जानना चाह रहा हूँ।
No, but that we are not getting into. I'm saying that let's keep it for some other day. Let's stick to West Bengal. What I'm doing. What I'm doing, I'm happy doing. All I said, I don't want to be in this space as a second best. If I'm not able to do what I'm set out to do in West Bengal, I must quit this space. When I say space, meaning what I do as a political aid to the people or what I have been doing in the last 4 or 5 years.
But
there is no doubt about it.
No, I'm very curious about this and I want to press a little further. क्या सोचते हो कि 10-15 साल बाद जब मोदी जी जाएंगे तो प्रशांत किशोर आएगा?
कहाँ पे?
देश नेशनल सेंट्रल
नहीं, हम लोग बहुत छोटे लोग हैं। मैं अभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी मेरी नहीं है, मैं कोई पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविस्ट नहीं हूँ। That is very far fetched. I want to learn and enjoy doing what I'm doing. Till the time I'm doing, I must be one of the best, if not the best. The day I realize that I'm not there, I must quit. There is something called retirement. You know, players quit.
Politics में कोई retire नहीं
होता. But I'm not a hardcore politician. I am in a political space. But there will be a time when you have to say that yes, someone else is there who is better than you. So you quit and watch and have fun.
So is there anyone you see who you think is better than you?
No, Bengal will settle who is better. Bengal will settle who is better.
आप ज़रा बड़े तीन पत्ते नहीं खेल रहे हैं यहाँ पे. This is like तीन पत्ता only कि my cards are the best. अब ये सब उल्टा हो गया. बीजेपी तो अच्छा ही कर रही है, ग्राउंड पे मेहनत तो कर ही रही है. उल्टा पड़ गया तो
छोड़ देंगे.
तो ये बहुत वायरल होगा. मैं बता रहा हूँ, इतने मीम्स बनेंगे, पूरा आईटी सेल आपके पीछे लग जाएगा.
पूरी आईटी सेल पड़ जाए पूरी दुनिया. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि if I have any intent to backtrack on my word, then only I'll be bothered. My life is not determined by the trolls. Many of them have been brought in this space by me, so I know what they can do. So I'm not guided by trolls.
सारी ट्रोल आर्मी उसके जनता आप ही ने क्रिएट की थी.
I'm saying the use of digital media, now it has become perverted, you know, a lot of distortion. I'm saying it's not that I don't know what trolls means and what social media quote unquote warriors could do to me, but that's fine. I'm not bothered about it. I'm not the guy who is easily scared. Certainly not by trolls or anybody else for that matter.
Is this the toughest political battle of your life?
No. See, every battle looks that tough. When I was in Punjab, I tell you frankly, I have said it on record, Punjab was very tough. Aam Aadmi Party was actually doing very well. And with a missionary like Congress, to win Punjab was pretty difficult. Just because it was clubbed with UP, it was never talked about. It did not probably catch the attention. Also, the size matters in India. So Punjab is a small state. So the biggies of the political ecosystem, probably they did not pay that much attention to what happened in Punjab. But Punjab was quite tough.
That was tougher than Bengal.
It's very difficult. It's a two different thing. But yes, Punjab was very tough.
Let me rephrase that question. Is this the most high-stakes political battle?
Possibly, yes. Possibly, yes. Because high stake, to make it high stake, you have to have both sides making it high stake. Because BJP has made it so high stake game for them, probably you
पर
can
मुझे लगता है बाद में पलट जाओगे तो ये तो बहुत बार मैंने भी देखा है हमारी 150 सीटें आएंगी 200 आएंगी राहुल भाई आप लिखा के रख लो नहीं आएंगी तो मैं फिर से इंटरव्यू नहीं दूंगा और एंड में गायब हो जाते हैं
ऐसा है मैं तो कोई सिक्योरिटी लेके घूमता नहीं हूँ अपना फोन खुद उठाता हूँ आप मुझे उस दिन फोन करके लाइव कर लेना बताना कि भाई बीजेपी के आगे 100 से ज्यादा या आप बंगाल हार गए आर यू क्विटिंग और नॉट एंड ऑन दैट डे आई विल से दैट आई विल स्टैंड बाय
आई विल होल्ड यू टू दैट
Absolutely. Please hold. Please.
How much of a dent do you think Suvendu Adhikari's absence makes? Not just in East and West Midnapur, but in the districts where he had a sway over the party. The BJP's hope is that in those areas where they were earlier weak, his absence in the Trinamool hollows out your party.
First of all, his own stature was hugely overrated by people who may or may not have the full understanding of Bengal politics as it works. It's like people said he is the hero of Nandigram, as if he created Nandigram, not Didi. So now Didi is fighting Nandigram, and he should defeat Didi there, because if he is the hero of Nandigram, he should defeat. We have taken the battle to the Nandigram. He should defeat Didi in Nandigram.
But in the last elections in 2016, he got 67% of the vote in Nandigram. The Trinamool got 60%.
Trinamool got, not the Suvendu Adhikari.
With Suvendu as your candidate.
Yes, so
uski pakad hai wahan pe.
But that way, all the MPs who have won, do you think they win because of the BJP and Modi ji's charisma, or they win because they have pakad? See,
But Suvendu is different. He is a ground.
Everyone is different. Suvendu is as different as anybody else. When you are working as the lieutenant of Mamata Banerjee, and a key partner or colleague, the power or the charisma or the support you enjoy is not the same when you go away. It's like the power what I would have today in Bengal, if I start feeling that it's all because of my own ability, I would be a big fool. It is because I'm drawing that because of it is being passed on from Didi to me. So Suvendu Adhikari on his own, how much he is able to do, only 2nd May results will show.
Now, one of the other big themes in this election has been the connection between Prashant Kishore, PK, and Abhishek Banerjee or Bhaipo, and the charge leveled by the BJP publicly and by Trinamool leaders privately is that Abhishek Banerjee and Prashant Kishore have hijacked the Trinamool. They're the ones sitting in quiet offices, taking key decisions, and the grassroots Trinamool Karyakarta has been cut away from the decision-making matrix.
Just, you yourself said that Didi listens to nobody. So you think it's possible for anyone to come and hijack Trinamool under the eyes of Didi when she is fully active? Has she taken a retirement? She is very much on job, 24/7. So take that thing out. Abhishek Banerjee is one of the most important leaders of Trinamool. That's the fact. But that is the fact. That's it.
But Didi does have a soft corner for him.
That way, Mr. Modi would have soft corner for many people in BJP. Are we to say, you have soft corner or you have trust on colleagues who you think are delivering for you or doing the job for you? So whoever is the leader would have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 people. Earlier, it might be Mukul Roy. Earlier, it might be Suvendu Adhikari. Today, if it is a Subrata Bakshi or Partho Da or Abhishek Banerjee or Bobby Hakim or somebody else, why do you say that Mamata Banerjee has lost control? If she has lost control today because she is dependent on Bakshida versus Mukulda, then she has lost control to Mukulda 10 years back.
How are you
What
as a
kind of logic is
strategist
this?
dealing with the Abhishek Banerjee question, the attacks on Abhishek Banerjee, Bhaipo, itna mehenga chashma.
What mehenga chashma?
Chashme se dikhai nahi.
Just compare the cost of the chashma what the BJP leaders are wearing and what Abhishek is wearing. Just put it on the public domain. because you guys do some of these things also. Just take the aspects which Abhishek is wearing and take the aspects of what.
अब आपने change करवा दिया उसका aspect.
अरे भाई मैं क्यों change कराऊंगा? आप उसके पुराने photo निकाल लीजिए. And the aspects what he is wearing, put that cost versus the aspects what the top leadership of BJP is wearing. What is this? No one is wearing Sevagram ki bana hua khadi.
But this constant charge that coal mafia, all the mining mafia, the cuts, the tulabas, the fact that there is a big cut money, and Didi also once publicly acknowledged it. She said, if you've taken money, you have to send it back.
That shows the character of the lady, that if there is some rot in the party, she has been man or the woman enough to say that जो भी party में corruption कर रहा है अपने पैसे वापस करो वरना तुम्हें उठाकर बाहर फेंक दूंगी.
This is a bit of a cop out. You're supposed to stop. You're supposed to stop it from happening. ये नहीं हो सकता ना कि पूरी.
Can you stop? Can Modi ji say that no one in BJP is corrupt? Can any leader say that?
But he exercises tighter control.
Yes, so she is exercising as much control as possible. Have you, just tell me, can you find one person and say that Didi is corrupt? Show me, I have worked with so many leaders, show me a single chief minister.
Under her, if there's so much corruption,
yes,
if Modi ji's entire cabinet is corrupt and people are taking money...
But her entire cabinet is not corrupt. There might be few people here and there who are accused, and if they are, she should take action.
When the conclave happened, the top businessmen were here.
Yes.
I was generally talking to them and asking them about the level of corruption in comparison with the left regime. The fact that corruption exists in a systematic, widespread fashion in West Bengal.
Because you are referring to your off-record conversation with people who might have said this, I urge you to share with viewers your off-record conversation with the same businessmen at India level about the BJP and the Modi government. They still crib.
No, but this is more rampant.
Why don't you say? You are saying that businessman off-record told you that Trinamool regime is corrupt. Okay? I can tell you, and I'm sure you know this, and you can share your own experience, what do the businessmen tell about the central government? Are they not saying what they're saying publicly about demonetization or GST, and what they say in private is the same?
No, of course it's not. But it's not as widespread and rampant. That's also true. यहाँ पे हर छोटे-छोटे level पे हर कार्यकर्ता को हर जगह पे.
I'm telling you, there is an issue about the petty corruption. There has been an issue about it, and that is why in last 1.5 years, there has been a very systematic and well-intended effort on the part of government, Didi and the party as a whole, to weed out such elements. But when we weed out, most of them have gone and joined BJP. So those who were corrupt in Trinamool and now they have become part of BJP, you are not blaming BJP for that. So if Didi is doing the cleanup job, you are saying that, oh, her SIP is shrinking. If she is not cleaning up, you are saying that, oh, her whole entire party is corrupt. So there is no way she can be credited for with anything. Why are you not asking that those who are joining BJP, just do this fact check? Some of the most corrupt people, I'm not saying all of them, but some of the most corrupt people in Trinamool who have left Trinamool have joined BJP.
Yeah, so we've asked this question to the BJP many times.
So what does it tell you? That there is an effort on the part of Trinamool to weed out or to push out these people out. And that's why we are very confident that ultimately people will see to it that those who are being pushed out were not necessarily the best people.
One of the themes in this election has been Bahari versus Bengali, this whole idea which you tried in Bihar.
I have not tried. It's a natural thing.
That Bengali versus the outsider.
So it's a natural thing. When Mr. Modi goes in Gujarat, he has a natural advantage, being a Gujarati. Obviously, if you are coming to Bengal, and you are facing a daughter of Bengal, the lady would have the natural advantage of being seen as a daughter of Bengal. What is the problem? If Mr. Modi plays a Gujarati card, you are not accusing him. Then why are you accusing Mamata Banerjee if she says that I am a daughter of Bengal? Or when Nitish ji says that I am Bihari? Every leader is entitled, and that's why you are best if you are doing politics in your native place.
What, according to you, can change between now and the first phase of polling and the subsequent 7 rounds, which upsets your 100 seat mark?
I tell you only one thing. Only one thing. If there is a kind of unfortunate incident of attack on paramilitary forces here, that's the only thing that could change things. I'm being absolutely honest and blunt.
Who could attack the paramilitary?
I don't know. I'm saying if there is probability of 1%, if some paramilitary forces get attacked, something happens, that I can't foresee. But otherwise, in a normal circumstances, no matter what BJP does, no matter how good a player they are in slogovers, they were as good a player in slogovers in Delhi as well. I think the gap is too big for BJP now to fill.
One of the other questions which I wonder about sometimes, Mr. Kishore, is about the fear factor. Very often when there's a government that is strongly entrenched on the ground and change is on the anvil, voters typically don't reveal to pollsters, whether they are yours or ours, what their actual voting intention is, because उनको लगता है क्या पता TMC का आदमी, दीदी का आदमी, मैंने बोल दिया BJP को वोट दूंगा तो पिटाई होगी.
I agree.
How big a factor will be fear?
So that factor I think in private conversation I've been sharing with you also and many other people, that yes, that's something which you cannot guess, but elections have been announced. And we are closely looking at data coming in last 4 or 5 days. And I do not see much deviation there either. So that's why I'm saying, unless there is a very serious issue on the law and order front that BJP kind of uses to say that, nation, hyper-nationalism and all those things, I do not see any possible way BJP can pull this state within the known means which are in public domain. Just not possible now.
Okay, so
it's a gone case for BJP now.
You're sounding very confident.
The only debate is how big is the victory. Someone is saying Didi is scraping through, someone will say she will pull at the end, someone will saying she would have a decisive victory. The debate has shifted since last 2 months. The debate, earlier the people were saying Trinamool is gone when Amit Shah came and claimed 200 plus seat, this, that. Now people are saying, no, she will pull through. She might not have as big a victory as last time, but she will pull through. You will see as we reach closer to the election date, more and more people will say that she is headed for a very decisive victory.
So over the past half hour, we had an opportunity to speak of West Bengal. Ordinarily, this is where I'd say thank you very much.
I repeat, hold me on 2nd of May.
मुझे कुछ नहीं करने की जरूरत है, वो IT सेल खुद कर देगा. अगर आप हारे,
you seem to be speaking for IT cell. I don't care about IT cell.
I'm just imagining कि क्या होगा अगर उनकी 100 से आगे ऊपर आपका तो वो बैंड बजा देंगे.
Already channels वाले जो है, किसी सर्वे में किसी ने दिखाया 102, 92 से 102. तो चैनल वाला ये नहीं कह रहा कि बीजेपी हार रही है. चैनल वाले ये कह रहे हैं कि प्रशांत किशोर का प्रेडिक्शन खत्म हो गया क्योंकि बीजेपी 100 से पार हो रही है. So ultimately they will say what BJP wants them to say, but nonetheless
we will say what
I'm not talking about you. You get what I'm saying.
Sure.
भाई आप खुद चैनल में दिखा रहे हैं कि बीजेपी का 92 से 102 आ रहा है. तृणमूल का आपके हिसाब से 150-160 सीट आ रहा है और आप कह रहे हैं प्रशांत किशोर की प्रेडिक्शन गलत हो गई क्योंकि उन्होंने 100 कहा था. ठीक है भैया, बहुत अच्छा है, 2 तारीख को देख लेंगे.
हम तो पोल नहीं किया हमने, but nonetheless I see what you're saying. Ordinarily this is where I'd wrap up the interview, but this being Prashant Kishore and the role that you're playing in the current assembly elections, there's all of Tamil Nadu still to talk about, and then we've got a bit of Assam and then the national picture. So I'll slip into a break. We'll continue this engaging conversation with Prashant Kishore, who's spoken because on the one side he's got Mamata Banerjee calling him, on the other side he's got Stalin. How does he even pull off this juggling act in 2 completely different elections, which says a lot about the role that he's playing? We'll try and delve into that when we come back on the other side of a quick break. You're watching India Today.
India Today Conclave South 2021, March 12th and 13th, Chennai. Listen to JP Nadda, Eddappa K. Palaniswamy, Pinarayi Vijayan, MK Stalin, Sadhguru, Kamal Hassan. Catch the live webcast on www.indiatoday.in.
भाई साहब कितना हुआ?
सर 120
हाँ 120 लगनी चाहिए. और भी लोगों से पूछते हैं कहाँ गए सबके सब. भाई साहब कौन है आप मेरे पीछे क्यों आ रहे हैं? आप जरूर को जानते हैं.
सर मैं पांडे, आपका कैमरामैन. अब रोज से हम गलती करते हैं.
गलती तो हुई है. गलती में कौन कौन से लोग शामिल हैं सबका पर्दाफाश करके रहेंगे. मैडम ये जो हो रहा है इस मुद्दे पे आपका क्या कहना है? अब इस में कितने राज छुपे हैं, हम इसका पर्दाफाश करेंगे. रात 8:30 बजे देखते रहिए.
सरेआम बज रहा है सच का बैंड.
हाँ मैडम, ये सच का बैंड बजाते हैं और आज तक वाले इनका.
समाचार तमाशा नहीं, भरोसा है.
आज तक सबसे तेज
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking to improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with a view of producing top-notch media professionals.
For more news and updates, log on to indiatoday.in or download our app now.
Bang in the middle of India's most ferocious election. Only one channel brings you all sides uncensored. From the defender
हमको धमकाता है What he thinks himself. हिम्मत है तो हमारे साथ लड़के देखिए अगर आप डरोगे तो मरोगे डरना नहीं चाहिए
to the challenger.
यहाँ मेरी सरकार तभी आ सकती है जब ममता बनर्जी की सरकार को उखाड़ कर फेंको.
Every side, every time, no compromise. When divisions dictate the debate, the only free and fair channel is India Today. The all-new India Today mobile app. Get quick and short news flashes. Watch TV news channels live. Read stories without data connection. Personalize your feed and notifications. Watch a bulletin of your favorite journalist. Lighter and faster. India Today mobile app.
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking so they improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with the view of providing top-notch media professionals. Register now at www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in.
For more news and updates, log on to indiatoday.in and download the India Today app now.
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking to improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training. You're watching the Newstrack, and we have with us ace political strategist Prashant Kishore, and I want to spend this part of our interaction talking about Tamil Nadu. Now, you're in this unique position where you're speaking to Mamata Banerjee on one phone and Stalin on the other. How are you coping with these two requirements?
I have only one phone, so whether I'm speaking to MKS or Mamata Di,
no, but you get what I'm saying. Like
yes,
how difficult is it to try and focus on two completely different election scenarios?
It's a challenge which I have accepted, and I think I'm supported by very able colleagues. They're able to manage things. I work as hard as I could, but largely the team is pretty capable to pull it off.
Is Tamil Nadu much easier than West Bengal?
See, no election is easier. It looks easier for people who are commenting from the outside. You go and talk to the DMK rank and file today and tell them that Bengal is very difficult. They are not bothered about Bengal election. They are bothered about how to win Tamil Nadu and their own constituency. So those who are actually, those whose neck is actually on the line, for them elections can never be easy. But given the overall scenario, you could say that Bengal is much more high-stake game, looks like much more high-stake game than what it is in Tamil Nadu.
In Tamil Nadu, over the past several months, Chief Minister E.P. Palanisamy seems to have made some kind of a comeback. That the AIADMK doesn't seem as weak and fractured and divided as it was. They've been able to come together. Their anti-incumbency isn't quite as high as it was immediately after Amma died. And therefore, does that then present a greater challenge to the DMK, than seemed the case a few years ago.
See, this whole debate of EPS, as he is popularly called, doing better, is based on the very low base or literally no expectation people have from him. So people thought he will collapse, he would not be able to run government, AIADMK will cease to exist. Of course, those things have not happened. And we must give him credit for that. But this is not to say that he has become the most popular, more acceptable, charismatic leader, as some are trying to make out to be. Yes, by his own low standards and widespread people's expectation, he has done better. But make no mistake, DMK is headed for one of its biggest victories in Tamil Nadu.
Now, one of the imponderables at this moment, or the variables, is the DMK Congress seat sharing talks, where we're still in the middle of that conversation, but the Congress is being offered about 20 odd. They started by expecting about 70. They've now come down to about 35, but there still seems to be a 15-seat gap between expectation and the offer.
Yeah, but this, whenever you have an alliance in an election, these things are part and parcel. You know, AIADMK, BJP, they are equally, struggling with their own alliance partners. Freezing of these numbers, it takes time. Sometimes, it matches your expectations. Sometimes there is a give and take. I'm sure it will get sorted in the next 2-3 days' time.
How do you see the Sasikala factor play itself out, and this effort that's being made to engineer a rapprochement between Sasikala, OPS, EPS and the AIADMK, the breakaway faction and the existing card?
See, I'm not an expert on the lady per se, what actually she brings on the table, but just theoretically speaking, AMK, which is the party or the faction which probably she represents, they are a breakaway part of AIADMK. So any realignment, it goes without saying, would be advantage, would help AIADMK by that much. But if you add 2% more vote, AMK goes with AIADMK and they all come together, it might help them with 2-3-4% vote. No one can quantify exactly how much, but at least psychological boost, a little bit of psychological boost. I think the gap between the DMK and the AIADMK alliance in Tamil Nadu is so wide that I do not see that having any material impact on the possible outcome of
How do you see the BJP's play in Tamil Nadu? For a party that has as limited support and vote share, they seem to be making a rather ambitious and audacious play.
Because they are ruling India, not because they have great presence in Tamil Nadu or there is a great deal of public support for BJP. It's just because they are the big brother by virtue of being the ruling party in India. So they can arm twist, they can impress upon those who are the key players in Tamil Nadu to take them on board. So BJP, whatever they are presenting or whatever they are, if they are trying to make themselves an important player in Tamil Nadu, it's just a function of their strength at India level. It's not, it has got nothing to do with their presence in Tamil Nadu. BJP in Tamil Nadu is still, I would say, less than a marginal player.
Since you work both with Mr. Stalin and Didi at this time, I want you to compare the two. Give us your sense of working with Mr. Stalin. You don't speak Tamil.
I don't.
He understands English, doesn't speak it very well, likes to speak through a translator. How has it been working?
See, language is a bigger challenge in Tamil Nadu versus West Bengal, where I'm able to converse in Bengali. Though I don't speak Bengali, but I understand Bengali, and all meetings I am able to do in Bengali. Tamil Nadu is much more difficult because I don't understand Tamil, but you have to fight with what you have, and we know. We have gone there knowing that the language will be a constraint. It's like you are a player all your life, you have played spin, you go to Australia, you have to play on a fast pitch, you have to prove your mettle there.
So how has it been like working?
It's difficult, but again, I have colleagues, all my colleagues are Tamilians. In Tamil Nadu, the IPAC is made up of all but people from Tamil Nadu. So they are there to help.
Except your top brass.
Not even top brass, like 2 or 3 people who might be there who are not Tamilians, but 99% people are
So
Tamilians.
how does Stalin, in your view, compare with Nitish Kumar, Amrinder Singh?
See, it's very difficult to compare the leaders.
And their styles, their
couple of
personality.
things. See, he's yet to become a chief minister. He has not become chief minister. So people have to, he still has to win that and be there and then be judged. One good thing which I would give to Mr. Stalin is that he has spent probably the longest time in public life being son of a chief minister before he has taken over the party. It's sometimes, it's mind-blowing to me. The 40 years he has played this person in waiting, learning, going through the grind. Usually you see son or daughters of the politicians, they come by the 30, 35, they think that they know everything. So we must give credit where it is due. Even though he is, by technically speaking, a dynast because his father was the chief minister, 45 years in public life before he has actually put himself in a position where he's leading TMK. So that's his strength. That tells me that guy has been patient, that guy has been disciplined, and he was willing to learn and go through the grind, which are very rare traits to have in today's...
But to flip that argument, there are some inside the DMK and many outside who wonder whether he has what it takes to take the DMK to power without the absence of his towering father.
But this is where, as a society, we have to be a little bit more sensitive. When someone comes just by virtue of being someone's son or daughter, we crib. But if someone has spent 20, 30, 40 years going through the grind, then we are saying he's not charismatic enough. If you leave it to me, if left to me, I would pick a guy who has spent 20, 30 years going through the grind rather than someone who has just come by virtue of being someone's son or daughter. So I have great respect for Mr. Stalin for that reason, at least.
How does fighting and planning an election for the DMK compare with West Bengal? Because the Trinamool and the DMK are very different parties. DMK is a far more structured.
DMK is a completely cadre-based party. Trinamool is more like a mass movement converted into party. Of course, the leaders are different. He is a challenger. Didi is a ruling dispensation. She's 10 years. She has to fight 10 years of anti-incumbency. In Tamil Nadu, we are benefiting from 10 years of anti-incumbency. So it's, of course, different world, different challenge, different parties, different culture. Everything is different.
And like you had a figure of double digits for the BJP in West Bengal, is there a figure that you have in Tamil Nadu, or you think that...
I don't give figures in West Bengal also. I'm not giving figure for Trinamool. I'm saying that BJP will not be able to cross 100. In Tamil Nadu, I can tell you DMK is headed for one of its biggest victories ever.
But DMK has won big in the past also.
No, they have won in 1996. I'm talking about DMK party, not the...
But just by itself.
But just by themselves, they should be able to secure one of the biggest victories ever.
Now, there are two theories in Tamil Nadu politics. One is the alliance theory, that the more alliances you have with smaller parties, the better off you are. The other is the theory that the DMK should go it alone as much as possible and try and increase its own strength because this is the best opportunity.
I think DMK will fight, to the best of my knowledge, will fight large number of seats, much more than what most people have expected. It will be largely a DMK-led alliance, predominantly DMK, because that's the only way they can have, they can secure a big victory for themselves, not for the alliance. Of course, alliance will be there. I'm not saying that it will be DMK versus all, but it will be a predominantly a DMK-led alliance.
In the middle of a busy election, how difficult is it to juggle the DMK responsibilities and the Trinamool responsibilities in two different parts of the country?
There are better flight connections now. You have direct flight from Calcutta to Chennai, so you take flight, reach. Usually I take very early.
Both Trinamool leaders and DMK leaders calling at the same time to have...
Yeah, some time you are always struggling with some time management, but you know the flight schedules are quite good. You take early morning flight, by the time people wake up, I'm in Chennai, and I take the similar early morning flight, so I'm in West Bengal if I so choose to be. It's not that difficult. So that much connectivity has improved in the country, especially the interstate connectivity. So you don't have
thanks to Modi ji and Udan and everything.
Yes, thanks to the overall development that has happened in the last many years, or probably decades. Some credit, of course, to the present government. But I'm saying no longer you have to fly through the hubs. So you fly from one capital to another capital, which is literally seamless.
So I want to step away for a moment from this assembly election and look at the larger national political picture that is emerging. Many people who look at India's opposition wonder what will happen to India's opposition at a time where the BJP juggernaut led by the Prime Minister, flanked by Amit Shah, is as strong as it is and continuing to expand its presence one way or the other. Where do you see the Indian, if the Indian opposition is to bounce back, what do you think the strategy should be?
If you go and ask this question to Mr. Modi, he would say that opposition is as strong as ever it was. They would never take opposition lightly. And that's why they are where they are. In a country like India, as diverse, as big as we are, never ever make the mistake of thinking that there is no opposition. The formation in which that opposition is apparent to you and me might look weak. So just take this conversation to 1973. And if you and I would have having this conversation, no matter how smart we might be, could we have imagined a challenge to Indira Gandhi coming from Jayaprakash Narayan or Navnirvan Andolan? If we would have had having this similar conversation, say in 1987, 88, could we foresee a challenge to late Rajiv Gandhi coming from Vishwanath Pratap Singh and others? So some of these things, where it will come, you don't know. That's the beauty and the challenge of democracy. You never know. So I wouldn't be complacent thinking, or I would not be writing that there is no opposition. And
no, but you're looking at the question from the perspective of the BJP and the Prime Minister. I'm saying look at it from the perspective of those who don't like what's happening.
So those who are in opposition, they have to definitely look back, analyze, they have to listen more to what people want them to do. The biggest problem is they probably are not listening enough to their constituents. Forget about who is voting for BJP. If you ask me, the single biggest factor is whether you are listening to people or not. By whatever means, whether you are listening through Facebook, whether you are listening through your cadre, whether you are listening through your people on ground, whether you are listening because you are doing a Padyatra or you are doing an SNY2, you need to listen to people on the ground to figure it out that what is going wrong with you.
I wish you all the best
Thank
for
you.
having taken out time in the middle of a very busy campaign, multiple campaigns being fought at the same time.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And we'll see if you're able to hold that 3-digit figure, or will this be the last interview with Prashant Kishore, the political advisor?
Yes,
ऐसा भी तो
it could
हो
be.
सकता है. It could be.
हो सकता है लेकिन होगा नहीं. आप चिंता मत करें.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
India Today Conclave South 2021, March 12th and 13th, Chennai. Listen to JP Nadda, Eddappa K. Palaniswamy, Pinarayi Vijayan, MK Stalin, Sadhguru, Kamal Hassan. Catch the live webcast on www.indiatoday.in.
भाई साहब कितना हुआ?
सर 120
120 हारा 120 लगनी चाहिए और भी लोगों से पूछते हैं कहां गए सब के सब। भाई साहब कौन है आप मेरे पीछे पीछे क्यों आ रहा है? आप जरूर को जानते हैं।
सर मैं पांडे आपका कैमरामैन। अब रोज से हम गलती करते हैं।
गलती तो हुई है, गलती में कौन कौन से लोग शामिल हैं सबका पर्दाफाश करके रहेंगे। मैडम ये जो हो रहा है इस मुद्दे पे आपका क्या कहना है? अब इस में कितने राज छुपे हैं, हम इसका पर्दाफाश करेंगे रात 8:30 बजे। देखते रहिए।
सरेआम बज रहा है सच का बैंड।
हाँ मैडम, ये सच का बैंड बजाते हैं और आज तक वाले इनका।
समाचार तमाशा नहीं, भरोसा आज तक सबसे तेज।
For more news and updates, log on to indiatoday.in or download our app now.
Bang in the middle of India's most ferocious election. Only one channel brings you all sides uncensored. From the defender
हमको धमकाता है What he thinks himself. हिम्मत है तो हमारे साथ लड़के देखिए। अगर आप डरोगे तो मरोगे। डरना नहीं चाहिए।
to the challenger.
यहाँ मेरी सरकार तभी आ सकती है जब ममता बनर्जी की सरकार को उखाड़ कर फेंको।
Every side, every time, no compromise. When divisions dictate the debate, the only free and fair channel is India Today. The all-new India Today mobile app. Get quick and short news flashes. Watch TV news channels live. Read stories without data connection. Personalize your feed and notifications. Watch a bulletin of your favorite journalist. Lighter and faster. India Today mobile app.
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking so they improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with the view of providing top-notch media professionals. Register now at www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in.
For more news and updates, log on to indiatoday.in and download the India Today app now.
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking to improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with a view of producing top-notch media professionals.
For more news and updates, log on to indiatoday.in or download our app now.
Bang in the middle of India's most ferocious election. Only one channel brings you all sides uncensored. From the defender
हमको धमकाता है. What he thinks himself. हिम्मत है तो हमारे साथ लड़के देखिए. अगर आप डरोगे तो मरोगे. डरना नहीं चाहिए.
to the challenger.
यहाँ मेरी सरकार तभी आ सकती है जब ममता बनर्जी की सरकार को उखाड़ कर फेंको.
Every side, every time, no compromise. When divisions dictate the debate, the only free and fair channel is India Today. The all-new India Today mobile app. Get quick and short news flashes. Watch TV news channels live. Read India Today Conclave South 2021, March 12th and 13th, Chennai. Listen to JP Nadda, Eddappa K. Palaniswamy, Pinarayi Vijayan, MK Stalin, Sadhguru, Kamal Hassan. Catch the live webcast on www.indiatoday.in.
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking so they improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with the view of providing top-notch media professionals. Register now at www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in.